Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
This is Craig Ackerman, TV play-by-play announcer for the Houston Rockets.
What's up, everyone? This is Jackson Gatlin, host of Locked on Rockets.
This is Chris Chavez.
This is your boy Heezy, a.k.a. Raheel Ramzanari.
It's Sean from Shots and Thoughts.
This is Will, a.k.a. Bias Houston.
This is Chucky Brown, former NBA basketball player for the 1995 NBA champion Houston Rockets.
This is Timoteo Keister.
What up, what up? It's Roosh Williams, the Mastodon himself.
What's up, Rockets fans? This is Hollywood Don Knock.
This is Devin White, a.k.a. The Gentleman.
It's your boy Von Wafer.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
This is Jonathan Sanford, public address announcer for your Houston Rockets. You're listening to The Summit State of Mind.
What's going on, everyone? You are listening to The Summit State of Mind, the podcast of dream shakes and stepbacks, and everything Houston Rockets, presented to you by the Apollo Podcast Network. I am your host, your commissioner, Kenny. Of course, with me, as always, is my brother, my tag team partner, the GM, Justin. And I'm telling you right now, we have such a great interview, a great episode in store for y'all today. This man, I cannot give this man his flowers enough. He's such a legend. I've been watching him on TV since I was 10, maybe.
You were kids. Definitely kids.
Since I was a kid. So this goes to show you, and I'm almost 30. So this just goes to show you how long I've been watching this man. He's just such a legend in Houston. I've been known for intros. I just want to be able to give it to this man properly. He is the sports director of KPRC Channel 2 NBC and has been since 2004. He is a legend in the entire city of Houston, introducing for the first time in our show, Randy Mcllvoy at the Summit. Randy, how you doing today?
Guys, how are you, man? What an introduction, man. I appreciate that. Makes me feel old, though. You know, you guys have been watching a lot.
I realize.
No, never. Thanks for having me on talking some Rockets, man.
Well, we just appreciate the opportunity once again, just to get you on and just to get to talk to you, you know, because we were able to meet at the OBL, which was awesome. And just a fun fact, you know, we were both doing the OBL and my brother was there. And then I nudged my brother and I'm like, hey, that's Randy Mcllvoy. let's go say hi. So
he was just a little great event, though. Man, that was a really cool event. I'm glad I went out there just to see kind of what Tracy McGrady was up to. And they've made stops since we ran into each other there. They've already made several stops. I think Chicago, a couple other cities. So it sounds like it's off and running, and that's going to be a really cool thing to see develop.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like it was a wonderful event to bring people together. You know, allowed players from everywhere to kind of showcase themselves. And a little fun fact, we were able to even interview Houston's OBL winner, John Jordan. And, you know, he was just a wonderful human being to speak to. So that was awesome.
The endurance these guys have to have with all those one-on-one games. I interviewed a couple of guys too after their first match. They said, I got to get some rest. I've got like four more one-on-ones left today. I was like, man, how are you going to hold up? But it's a really cool concept, and I think Tracy is right on when he said it's going to really bring in a lot of attention, and so far so good. And I think you're going to see a women's division develop as well, I think, down the road.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in terms of that. We're kind of seeing it at its infancy too, and just to kind of see that shape and grow, because I think they're going to be in New York this weekend. So because they just finished Atlanta and Chicago, so now they're going to be in New York. So shout out to the OBL one time. I know that they're continuing to do great things, and I know that the overall winner is going to be in July in Las Vegas. So be sure to check that out as we continue forward. But let's circle back to you, Randy. Look, you've worked for 18 years as sports director in Houston. What has the overall experience been like, just being able to cover all things Houston sports?
It's been really a dream come true. I mean, I grew up here in Houston, so when I had the opportunity back in 2004 to come back, it was like, man, I was at a really great job that I loved up in Dallas-Fort Worth. I worked for Fox Sports Net Southwest Regional Network. I thought I would be there forever and had no plans to leave. But you know, when your hometown has an opportunity, you jump on it. At least most people do, and I certainly did. And I grew up here in the area, just literally 5 minutes down the street from Channel 2. So No, it's been an unbelievable experience. I've gotten to cover. Yeah, I can't believe it's been 18 years already here, but so many things, cool things we've gotten to cover. I mean, there's been some bad seasons for our sports teams, and there's been some good ones. But the amount of events I get to cover and just the cool stories that are out there, telling the stories around H-Town, whether it's Rockets or any of our other professional teams, college teams, high schools. It keeps us busy. There's no doubt about it. There's never a slow day or a slow time of the year, it seems like. But, man, it's been a lot of fun, covering the teams that I grew up watching and going to games. I spent many nights at the summit going to the Rockets games growing up. And obviously they're no longer there at that facility, but still the team is front and center in this city.
Seriously, like the summit. That's exactly what the name of our podcast is. So I just love the fact that you are able to kind of squeeze that in there. But yeah, the experiences and we're talking lows. We're talking some serious lows in terms of like the three teams. But talking about the highest of highs. I mean, the 2017 Houston Astros obviously was probably one of the bigger stories.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt. When they get back to the World Series and win it, because when I got here in 2004. They were in the midst of a pretty good season, went to the NLCS, and in 2005 they went to the World Series, obviously, and that was a blast, first ever. But they got swept, so the result wasn't good. But, they came back, had some really bad seasons and 100-plus lost seasons. But that 2017 year was special. Being there in Los Angeles when they clinched on the field was, definitely something I'll never forget for sure. And what it meant for the city. And but man, when all the teams win, there's pro sports. It's roller coaster. You're going to have good years and bad years. Hopefully, more good ones. But those are a lot of fun to cover. I tell you, in the same stretch, we had all these good Rockets teams going with James Harden and the guys making it to the Western Conference Finals, and just fell a little bit short.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the wonderful thing about Houston, even when the team is good or bad, is that the fans will always support. And I think about us, like we're the ones doing a Houston Rockets podcast, and they won about 25, 26 games this year. Some people thought we were crazy, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, that is our team. Win or lose, we will always support them, and we can always find something positive. So, like Kenny stated, with the highs and the lows that come along, I think that's what makes the ride the best, is that when you experience it all, when you hit the highs, it's like there's nothing like it. It's extremely euphoric almost.
No, you're right, and especially when you have what I like to see, and you see it on all different teams, is Astros had it when they were losing, but we had the young Jose Altuve come through, and some of these young players watching their growth. Rockets are going through it right now with Jalen Green and some of these other young guys on the team, and you saw the improvement during the course of the year. And hopefully that carries into next year and the year after. That's what I like seeing. And it makes those difficult years a little easier to tolerate,
Right? That's true. It's true.
Okay, if you've got some stars in place, it's like, okay, flip side is, all right, they're losing, but, we're seeing the future, bookends, if you will, of the franchise, the cornerstones of the franchise. And good days are ahead, and you're seeing the early days of it, watching these guys really develop their skills.
It's actually perfect segue that you said that, because I was actually going to ask you, what was it like? Because you, like you said, you covered the days of that James Harden era of 8 years worth of just constantly contending teams, especially culminating in that 1 year with Chris Paul in 2017, 2018, where we were just almost there. But like I know, right? But from then to like now, like what was your overall experience just kind of covering them this season? Obviously, like the second year of the full on rebuild.
It's basically, for me, it's getting to know some of the players, and I'm not out there every single day, but around covering the team and then going to games. I get a chance to go to some games as a fan, but obviously I've got my eyes out because I'm with what I do every day. It's different. I'm a big fan of Stephen Silas, and I really feel like, and I've gotten the chance to get to know Stephen. I've sat down with him a few times for interviews and just one-on-one settings. And I just think he's a great fit for where they are right now. And I think he people just have to be patient with him. I think he got in with a very young team. He, saw what happened in his first year. He didn't really know what half his roster was going to be. They ended up losing Harden, and now he's got young guys they're trying to mold. I think it's all about patience, but I think we saw progress. We saw a team that contended, not every night, but more often than not. And I just think he's a good fit. I think he resonates with the players. I think the players respect him. And I hope the patience level goes all the way up to the upper management of the Rockets. And they don't necessarily look at wins and losses. Even this coming year, I mean, you might not. Hopefully, you're going to see progress. I think we need to see progress in the win column. But will they be a playoff team this coming year? Probably not. But it depends what else they do, what other moves they make. They could turn into one. But I think the year after is definitely going to be the year. I just hope they stay with Stephen Silas, because I think he and his staff, and I know he'll get a couple new pieces on his staff now coming in. It sounds like they made some changes, but I think he's a good fit, man. And I'm getting to know some of these guys, and I like the attitude they've got. They got a few vets in there to kind of mix up with the young guys, which is critical to kind of teach them the ropes. But man, watching Jalen Green really take off this season, because I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't wowed by him early in the year. I was like, okay, he's pretty good, but man, he's got shot problem he's got to correct. But man, he got in the lab, man, and got to work, and it paid off. That shot paid off, and you really saw the dividends come back in that second half of the season. I don't know what his second half numbers were, but I know they're impressive. But definitely elevated his game and to a new level in that second half of the season.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I like how you mentioned Stephen Silas, because at the end of the day, his first year, when he arrived, he arrived here to coach James Harden, Christian Wood, maybe Russell Westbrook. So at least that whole first year, we all kind of punted that. Once James Harden was gone, let's give him a shot. This year, it's more so along the lines of letting the team grow. But so that's why for this season, upcoming season, I believe that this is where we get to see what Stephen Silas really has in the bag in terms of offense. So we'll see how it goes. And also, like you said, like the two assistant coaches, like hopefully they hire one of my personal favorites from RGV, Coach Mahmoud Abdel Fattah, the head coach over there that won the championship. I'm hoping that he gets hired as well. And who knows what also comes in with this upcoming draft with the 3rd pick and maybe the 17th pick. Who knows? But we'll see. I'm personally just very, very excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I am too. It's just, the first year, not only did you not know the roster, but you're coming off COVID season, still protocol. Everything was just kind of out of whack. And you almost like to race that season because of just the chaos, the uncertainty. And this year it was kind of the first, for the most part this season, they had full go, but a young team. And just as long as they're taking steps, that's what you want. You don't want them to become stagnant. You've got to take steps in the right direction. How fast that will happen, I don't know. We're going to find out this year. But I'm with you. I'm excited about these picks, especially number 3. I think they'll hold on to it. I don't think that's going to be something. I know Rafael kind of hinted at that potentially could trade it, whatever. I think it's GM speak. But
of course,
you got to make that pick, man. And now whether that player will be immediate help or need a little growth, good chance it'll be a little learning curve there, but it'll be a good talent, whoever it is, with the projected 3 guys you can choose from. Really,
it's so funny that you say that, because all over this Rockets fandom on Rockets Twitter, you have the list. There's the 3 players, right? There's the big 3 that are going to come out of this draft. It's Chet Holmgren, Paolo Banchero, and Jabari Smith Jr. And you have Chet's Cheetahs or Chet's Children or whatever, like the fan base. And then you have the fan base of the Banchero boat, Banchero's bus. And then you have the Jabari jungle. So I have to ask you, Randy, if the 3rd overall pick fell in, obviously, it's the 3rd overall pick, so we don't really technically have a choice. But if you were able to kind of tap into any of those 3 players and how they kind of progress throughout their college season, who would be the first on your mock board for the Rockets to take?
That's a good question. We actually talked about that on our Sunday night show, Sports Sunday. Just when you're looking at now that they have these picks, people want to know, well, who are the options? And I mean, you look at all the mock drafts out there, you guys look at them all the time too. It's those three names you mentioned. And there might be some guys that creep up, who knows, between now and then draft. But I think pretty much those are the three that have really separated themselves. And I've seen a little bit of all three, not a lot, but I've read up on all three of them and just kind of done some background on all three. And the one that intrigues me the most, to be honest with you, is Banchero. I really think that he would be a fit here. I like his game. I like his upside. I like where it is right now. And Chet Holmgren, man, it just doesn't. He looks real frail to me. You know?
It's a common thought with everybody.
The first thing that comes to mind is, no, this guy might have some skills, man, but this guy's not going to hold up physically in the NBA. Mm-hmm. He's only like 195 pounds. So that concerns me. Jabari Smith's a good baller too. I mean, he's a good player as well. But I think Banchero is the guy that I really, out of three, I hope they land. That's the guy I want.
I like that because I'm on also the Banchero boat as well. So good to know that we're on the same squad, Randy.
Good. I like that.
I don't know. I might have to go opposite of y'all because I'm in Jabari's jungle over here on this side. But yeah, I mean, it's just based on preference. But I always tell people just because I like Jabari doesn't mean I dislike Paolo. So, to be honest, I'll take whoever, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who I want. Whoever ends up donning that Rockets uniform is going to be that player for the future. He's going to be the tandem with Jalen Green, and I'm going to support whoever. And I think all Rockets fans should feel the same way, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're going to want somebody that's the best fit. And I mean, I'm no scout. I mean, maybe Holmgren turns out to be the best guy of those three. Who knows? I just the eye test for me immediately is like, okay, he's not going to hold up, And but I really like the game that Banchero brings to the floor. Obviously, I like the program he's coming from and the way they're taught over there. And we'll see, man. I think he'd be a good fit. I could see him in a Rockets uniform. And I can see he and Jalen Green and company doing some damage.
Well, all the mocks have him listed at number 3. So he may very well, if the mocks hold up, he may very well be the one that drops the 3. So it sounds like Jabari is kind of the odds-on favorite right now, number 1, from what I've seen. So yeah, we'll see. Should be fun though, man. Can't wait for June 23rd to get here. I'm serious. If Chet gained like 20 or 30 more pounds, I guarantee you he'd be the number 1 pick.
Oh, absolutely.
Just under 200. It's like, come on, man. Come on, dude. You're 7'1". But right. Okay, Randy, I appreciate it. Last question before we get ready to go home here. Look, you've covered Houston sports. You've covered the Houston Rockets, Texans, Astros, obviously everything. But in terms of the Houston Rockets, what's just your favorite memories in regards to them? Just anything that you covered, any stories, any favorite memories you have that stand out?
Wow. Well, covering the, back in the 94, 95 years, I was still, I started my TV career in 1989 in the Beaumont market. So I was still in Beaumont at the time, but fortunately we came over quite a bit just because it's only like an hour and a half up I-10. And so we would cover Houston sports quite a bit actually. And back then Oilers, Astros, and Rockets. So covering a little bit of the championship teams. Obviously we weren't here every day. But being a part of that was really cool. Anytime you get to see a championship come to your home city, man, it's like, that's awesome. Most of my memories, to be honest with you, I mean, we had some good ones since I've been here the last 18 years, no doubt, covering these teams with Harden and then I went to the Western Conference Finals. I was a big D'Antoni fan, loved his style. I was hit and miss with Harden. He had brought a great game to the floor. Just at times I thought he was a little selfish, but that's just me. Still, he brought a lot to the table. But those are the battles with Golden State, man, for however many years that was. And just some really good series. That was some fun postseason runs to cover with these guys. And that was obviously when the Warriors were getting their streak going. And that's a lot of fun. But a lot of my memories were going, and I mentioned earlier in our chat here, my growing up here in Houston, my dad had partial season tickets. So with his business partner, so we would get X amount of games a year. I forgot how many we got, but man, I spent so many nights going to Rocket games growing up. That's my best memories. Gene Peterson was the voice of the Rockets, just a legendary voice. They had Akeem, they had Ralph Sampson. Back in the early days, I'd go to games, Rudy T, Calvin Murphy. I just felt it was a privilege to get to watch these guys play, and getting to know them now, long after their careers have ended. Just some fun times, man. When the Lakers would come through, I definitely remember I would always be fired up when my dad got his allotment of tickets. I'd always keep my fingers crossed that the Lakers were in one of them, and they wasn't every year, but most of the time he got the Laker game. And so that was when Magic and everybody would come through town, and Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah. Man, just that summit was rocking, man. And I definitely have a lot of great memories of that. And one thing I do remember that I always thought was really cool is Gene Peterson. He did the radio for the Rockets, but then at home games, he would also do the post-game show. I assume it was simulcast on radio, but he would, during the break, he would pull out a chair mid-court, and he would be on the in-house mic as well. Probably his radio broadcast, I'm guessing as well too. But within minutes of the game ending, a player would be right there on the court. You just don't see it anymore, except on the TV broadcast. But they would bring out, and it might be, it could be Akeem, could have been anybody, and player of the game. He'd interview him right there at midcourt for like 3 or 4 minutes for the whole crowd. You don't see that anymore. You usually just see a quick one on TV.
Definitely not.
Yeah,
definitely
that's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Nothing like in-house either.
But Gene Peterson would do that. That was really cool, man.
What a legend.
No, I love it. Such great, and it's so cool kind of just getting to hear that, because it was a little bit before our time, but kind of just getting to see those memories, because we actually had Matt Thomas on, like a month ago, and he just had awesome stories as well. So
he grew up going to games, so he probably had a bunch of them, and then of course he ended up now calling the games and being doing the PA voice for a little while. You kind of connect with him for sure, and they had to move on, got a new arena, which I was very happy about. But the Summit days were special, man. There's when you get to the Summit, I can't remember what the seating capacity was at the Summit, but they would sell out a lot, man. And especially when the Lakers came to town, or Celtics, teams like that, just like they do now. They sell tickets, and that place was an electric atmosphere during the good days of good Rockets basketball.
That's all I ever hear. All I hear is like just the fondest memories of the Summit. Like that's and it's just so cool. And that's why it's such an honor that when we found the namesake, had discovered the namesake of our podcast. Like when we made it up, we were like, okay, this is the perfect way to pay homage to the past.
Oh, absolutely.
Also, paying tribute to the future. So that was the whole mindset of the podcast. So we're just so glad that, just to get this opportunity to interview you and just getting you on. Randy Mcllvoy at the Summit. Randy, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I want to roll out the red carpet for you now. Anything that you want to say in regards to where to follow you, where to find you? I mean, obviously everyone knows where to find you on Channel 2, obviously, but give them your times one time so people know.
Well, first, thanks for having me, guys. And anytime, happy to hop on with you guys. It's always fun talking Rockets, even in the off season, isn't it? And as difficult as the last couple seasons have been when it comes to wins and losses, you can see that light at the end of the tunnel, because they get some pieces in place, and it's going to be a fun summer with the draft. And before we know it, this new season will get off and running this fall. You can find me obviously on KPRC Channel 2, and I'm on all the platforms. Twitter at KPRC2, Randy Mac, that's RANDYMC, and then I'm on Instagram, KPRC2, Randy Mcllvoy, same thing on Facebook. So we stay busy. We're trying to keep up whenever there's news. We deliver it either on social and, of course, on air as well, and on our website, click2houston.com. But a lot of Rocket stuff, and it's going to be a busy summer ahead, and it's going to be an exciting time when we find out who these picks are going to be in June.
We got to get you back on following after the draft too. We've got a little post-draft special, get you on and get your opinion.
Yeah, anytime. Happy to come on with you guys.
Appreciate it, Randy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Randy.
Randy Mcllvoy at the Summit. Thank you again, man. We appreciate it.
You got it.
The Summit for life.